How is everybody doing? Positive and productive, I hope. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me. Hey, do me a favor and share the content with friends, family, anybody that you think the content is relevant to. Remember, local elections are more important than national elections, but dollars are stronger than votes. They won't stop until we stop them. Liberation comes at a cost. Who's willing to pay for it? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting story. Extremely interesting. What I want to tell you guys is if you like my content, you like my videos, give me a purple heart in the comment section. Does a lot for my videos, does a lot for the algorithm. I really appreciate it in advance. So I want to just break you guys into this story, right? So if you guys don't know who the SPLC is, they're a organization that mainly deals with hate and bigotry, especially like in the South, and supremacist, white supremacist groups and various things of that nature. This is extremely important, ladies and gentlemen, because it's almost like we're living in the world where the opposite is the truth. Up is down, down is up, left is right, etc., etc. So just really quickly, you guys got to bear with me. So who is the SPLC? So the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, is a Montgomery, Alabama-based 501c3 nonprofit legal advocacy organization funded in 1971. It specializes in civil rights litigation, monitoring extremist and hate groups, and promoting anti-biased education, aiming to dismantle white supremacy and advocate human rights. It's known for its hate map in legal battles against supremacist organizations. Key aspect of SPLC mission focuses on dismantling white supremacy. That's really important right there, ladies and gentlemen. Mission focuses on dismantling white supremacy, strengthening intersectional movements, and advancing the human rights of all people, particularly through litigation and hate groups. Legal action. Famous for lawsuits that crippled violent organizations like the Ku Klux Klan. That's interesting. Intelligence projects. Monitors and exposes hate groups, anti-government movements, and white supremacy, publishing reports on trends in the hard right. Tolerance programs. Promotes anti-bias education through resources for schools and communities. 2026. All right. So really quickly, ladies and gentlemen. So you heard who they are, right? You heard who they are and what they do and what they represent. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully it doesn't play a commercial, but if it does, just bear with me really quickly.
Good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups.
It's going to get interesting. So I had to preface it. He even prefaced it. So we know that they are supposed to be dismantling white supremacist groups. This is what this organization does, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. And it's a really interesting caveat that I want to tie into this.
It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of 1 person and injured dozens more. This particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years. In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million to 8 individuals at least. These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nations affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front. Now,
let me stop it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear what they just said? He said a lot, and we're not innocent until proven guilty. But according to the FBI and according to their data, the SPLC paid members, at least 8 members of particular organizations, all with ties directly to neo-Nazi, white supremacy, Ku Klux Klan, sadistic, I don't know, some shit, right? About $3 million. The SPLC, ladies and gentlemen, directly paid neo-Nazis and white supremacists. I told you guys, listen, pretty soon they're going to tell you Aquaman died in a bathtub. Let's continue.
As the indictment lays out, after SPLC paid members of these extremist groups, it created work product that reported on these activities that the members participated in or contributed to. And to that end, it was doing the exact opposite of what it's told its donors it was doing. Not dismantling extremism, but funding it. To carry out this scheme, SPLC created bank accounts in the name of at least 5 completely fictitious organizations that had no bona fide employees or legitimate business purpose. The money was passed from SPLC to one sham account to a second sham account and then loaded onto prepaid cards to give to the members of the extremist groups. This was designed to shield the source of those funds, and because of this, SPLC is also charged with one count, as I said earlier, of conspiracy to commit money laundering. In conclusion, I want to thank the acting U.S. Attorney in the Middle District of Alabama, Kevin Davidson, who's in his district right now and not able to be with us, for bringing this important case, along with the FBI team in Alabama for their hard work during this investigation. This investigation is ongoing, and I'd like to ask Director Patel to say a few words as well.
So, and before Cash speaks really quickly, so ladies and gentlemen, just a quick synopsis. We have to recap. So the SPLC, and we read who they are. They were historically known for taking down the KKK. And now it's reported, it's argued, it's being suspected that they actually paid the KKK. How does this work, ladies and gentlemen? How does this work? Let's continue.
Thank you, General Blanche. What we're here today is to announce what the General just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the General laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million. Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity. They attempted to hide their criminal activity from our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful to the president for his leadership and funding of not just the
So let me stop it right there really quickly. Let me stop it because I know a lot of you guys tuned out. Oh, well, yeah, okay. So here's the thing. And I hate that we're in this world of being so polarized to where, depending on who said it, makes me either agree or disagree with it. You know, for instance, you know, I've said it, you know, a doctor could tell you you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. And if Donald Trump gets on TV and says you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day, people are going to say, no, Donald Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. You know, for instance, I call it the Tylenol theory. You know, he said, now, whether Trump said it for the right reason or not, he said that, pregnant women shouldn't take Tylenol, and they should more than likely consult with their doctor, specifically so their children don't get autism or different things of that. That's why he said it. That's exactly, almost verbatim. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. Now, whether it's true or not that your kids will or won't get autism from Tylenol, what is true is that doctors, physicians, and Tylenol themselves say it's not suggested for pregnant women. Now, whether they will or will not get autism, it still holds true that pregnant women should not take Tylenol. So right now, this is what I want you guys to understand, is that the SPLC is supposed to dismantle white supremacy in various things of that nature. However, they're specifically funding it to the tune of $3 million. They said over the course of 8 years, they paid someone about $200 and something thousand. Just really quickly. I'm not a math surgeon or anything, so we're just going to do it really quickly, right? Let's just do this. I think it was 260,000 divided by 8. That's $32,000 a year. That's $32,000 a year. And then let's take that 32 and let's just divide that by 12. That's $2,000 a month. That's $2,700 a month. So the SPLC gave one man who we know has ties to neo-Nazism, Ku Klux Klan, white supremacyism, all that good stuff. The SPLC gave this man over $2,000 a month to the tune of about eight years, give or take. Does that not alarm you guys, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go back to the video, but that's insane. I mean, and right now we're talking about a living wage and decent salaries and moving different things up, and you know, people can't survive in America, and we're having these conversations, but yet you got neo-Nazis, Ku Klux Klan members, white supremacies getting $2,000 in excess a month just so they can go stir division. They're not paying neo-Nazis to go live in the woods and not be racist and get away from everybody and don't bring your racist ideologies to us. No, that's not what they're doing. They're paying neo-Nazis and racists and Klans members to actually go to events and do things that are going to insow violence, hate, dissent, contention, etc., etc. Let's go back to the video.
The FBI and DOJ, but his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you, General.
Thank you, Director Patel. With any questions?
Passing up half-price pizzas and free...
I'd like to know why individual people are not mentioned in this indictment. Is that something that's going to come down the pike? Is this just an indictment of the entity? Can you kind of explain, could people face charges here, or is this the indictment and you're done?
So, yes, I mean, as we said, the indictment, this investigation is very much ongoing, and today the grand jury returned an indictment against only one entity, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and we'll go from there. But as you'll see from the indictment itself, it should be obvious from the indictment that the investigation is ongoing.
I just want to make sure I understand your...
So this is ongoing. I'm going to do more research on this, ladies and gentlemen. I'll probably, won't even edit this up too much. We'll just post it as is, let you guys just watch it as is. As a story, like I said, as it evolves, as it unfolds, as people get named in this indictment, various things of that, I'll post more as I get more information about it. Again, this is very interesting. The SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, supposed to fight white supremacy, supposed to fight and eradicate the Ku Klux Klan, has just been ousted for possibly paying the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacy. Again, as always, stay positive, stay productive. Remember, local elections are more important than national elections, but dollars are stronger than votes. They won't stop until we stop them. Liberation comes at a cost. Who's willing to pay for it?